These intros get weirder and weirder.
I need to start up. What's up, everybody? This is Taryn with TarynTheHype. This is episode 4.
Woo.
We are actually starting to make some progress here.
1 month of shows.
Do you think we're actually going to get into the double digits before Christmas? Is it
before
possible?
Christmas? We could do it.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
I have to make a stretch 1 week or
Watch
something.
that.
But welcome to the TarynTheHype Show. You guys know this is the TarynTheHype Show, where you can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, PSN. Anywhere you look on those, you'll find us under TarynTheHype. Just search for it. What we are is we're a show where you get to choose the review. We give you our unbiased and biased opinions about games, movies, whatever have you, comics, and just enjoy the show and choose what you want to support. If you do want to support us, we are on Patreon. It's at TarynTheHype again, or patreon.com/TarynTheHype. And if you ever want to send us your own questions or information or topics, whatever it might be, your own reviews or how much you hate us or love us, just send it to TarynTheHype@gmail.com. Now, getting down to... You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I just didn't want to cough into the microphone.
Oh, that's fine. I don't care. It's like that's me. Like I told you, me eating ketchup. Just... in the end of the bottle and just all over again. I actually missed the glass bottles that you smacked.
You had to actually like pop.
I felt like you earned it.
You know the trick is not to pop them on the back, but to hit it on the
on the side, and I shake it a little bit.
Yeah, and that's how you get it to come out.
Like you're doing like a hang ten thing, but you're holding a bottle.
You're like, yeah.
Or like doing an impression of Michael J. Fox sort of thing.
Oh dang.
It's like I'm holding it still. I don't know what you guys are doing. Anyway, great start. I'm joined by my partner in crime here, the methodical Matt Marquez.
How's it going?
How you like that one? Was it?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not too
Methodical,
bad.
because you break down everything.
I do. Yeah,
well.
I like to think through things pretty well, so that's not too bad.
I thought about that because I thought about how you play like Jack and Daxter, or Ratchet and Clank, and like all those other games where you like to collect everything.
I don't play Jack and Daxter, by the way.
Or Ratchet and Clank. I like just those types of games like Hooper, where you like, all right, I know I'm gonna go here, here, and here. I need to go in this specific order. Like you break it down.
Yeah, I kind of have a path broken down in my head for what I need to do. Yeah. No, it works. That one's not a bad one.
Hence why you have so many platinums.
Yeah, so many platinums.
So
I guess it's a decent number.
I'm Terrence Levy. You're Matt.
Yeah.
What are you playing recently? What's going
on? Haven't been playing too much recently. Oh wait, yes I have been. VR came out last week, so I've been
What?
Hello, VR helmet. So that's been a lot of fun to mess around with. Now you're just messing up the set dressing, pissing me off. But the other big news is, after 20 years,
yeah, let's get it.
20 years since I started playing Earthbound the very first time. Little Matt in like end of 5th grade, getting ready to go into 6th grade, play this little game called Earthbound because my friend Ryan, shout out to you Ryan, was like, hey, this game is pretty cool, you should check it out. So I'm like, alright, let me borrow it for a while. Dang, that game just set me on the path. That game is the reason why I still love games and what got me into wanting to play more.
So walk me down memory lane here. So, Chris, congratulations on high five.
Oh, thank you. And
well
my
done.
shirt to celebrate today, my NES Onet.
That's not Ryan.
No, this is not Ryan. No, it's not.
In case you guys are wondering out there, we sound a little bit different. We actually have more microphones now, so becoming more professional. Thank you guys to all you out there supporting us on Patreon. But let's go down memory lane for a little bit. Let's get real.
Oh yeah, real talk.
Tell me how this adventure started and how it ended.
So, similar to a lot of people, I mean, I grew up playing some Nintendo games a little bit here and there. I started really getting into Super Nintendo, playing Mario Brothers and the like, especially when I'd go visit my cousins and stuff.
Right.
But it was never like something that was super big. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'll play. I'll have fun. But
I'll participate.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like an arcade experience. You go play, you have fun, and you move on. You do other stuff. But this game came along. The first role-playing game that I really remember playing and wanting to play more of. Mm-hmm. It was the first role-playing game I remember playing that was set not in some like fantasy world or like way back ye old times.
Yeah.
It was modern day.
Yeah,
set in the 90s.
Just a bunch of kids.
It was about a kid, who has special powers and is tasked to save the world. And holy crap, this is
nothing
amazing.
Abnormal about that at all.
Yeah, I know. Go fight aliens and robots and all kinds of animals that are turned evil and stuff.
But that was the big hook of it, is the fact that he was just a
cool.
regular kid
Yeah.
who ended up like saving the world.
It was normal-ish setting, so that was really cool. And the fact that there was like humor in the game, there was crazy characters who just seemed likable and fun that you would want to actually meet in real life. Going and seeing a show at the Runaway 5 in Tucson. Oh yeah, right. We could have. That's all right. I was gonna bring my DS and my amiibo, but that's all right.
So walk me through, like, so how many times have you started this game and then had to start over or reset or like?
So many starts and stops over the years. Like the farthest I ever got was probably a little over halfway, which I didn't realize I was that far. Like I think it was probably about 2/3 of the way was my farthest point. But I played it on SNES as a kid. I would borrow it from my friend, and then for a few years I was trying to hunt down a copy on eBay, and they were still reasonable.
Yeah,
they weren't crazy.
They were
expensive
price.
for 6th grade Matt to purchase, because $100 for the cart, for the box, for the strategy guide. Like the whole kit was like around $100.
This was for Matt, who was starting to get like allowances and chores and like extra cash sort of situations.
Yeah, and then I wasn't, I shouldn't have online accounts and credit cards to be able to purchase things on eBay.
So 20 years coming.
Man,
how did it was today you beat
it? Was today, this morning. I finished the final boss fight.
Walk me through the moments and your emotions when you beat the game.
So
Did you know the ending was coming? So you already spoiled it for yourself?
Well, I mean, kind of. So the deal is, like, I knew the basics of the ending. I knew how the boss fight goes in the end, kind of like the strategy for how you're supposed to beat him, the boss's guy, I guess. So I kind of knew what to expect going into it. I've been using a strategy guide so I can kind of, again, methodically maximize all the items that I'm going to collect.
Nailed it! Nailed it!
So that one might have to stick.
Count it, episode 4.
Yeah, right there. You got it. So
I'm 1 and 3.
So I'm going through, and this is when I was, like, a couple nights ago, I was like, holy crap, the last time when I played it, and I played your copy of it, which got a bug and it reset and it totally killed me on trying to play it. And that was like a couple years ago now.
Not my fault.
No, it totally was. It was my Super Nintendo that freaked out. So playing through it this morning, I'm like, all right, cool. We're getting to the last part. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to look through detail.
Yeah, but you're like, I know this. I know what's coming.
I see what's coming, but I don't want to know everything. So, like, I didn't really look at the last page. I didn't look and see what comes after the boss fight, that kind of stuff.
Spoiler story,
Yeah, I just want up until the boss fight, what's going to get me there. All right, cool. Go through the boss fight. I'm fairly high leveled for the game. Like, you level up really easy.
Yeah.
In the game, it's not a very difficult RPG, by today's standards at least. So get through the boss fight pretty easily. Get to the last part where you have to do you have to fight the boss a certain way to actually get him hurt, because you can't hurt him normally. And then he dies, and I was like, whoa, okay. All right, cool, here we go.
I did it.
I felt the most amazing relief. It was exciting. I felt like I wanted to tear up and start crying because I was so happy.
That Titan of the universe letting go of the world on his shoulders.
It was an amazing feeling. Like, I felt like I needed to tell everybody. I told my wife. I told you this morning. I sent you pictures of like my finishing screen almost.
I'm at work. I was getting this text. I'm like, it's like a picture of Earthbound. And then the words coming afterwards. I'm like, oh, congratulations. Like, milestone complete. You're like,
Man.
If I was in a game, a trophy would appear over your head in a moment. Okay.
Totally would have. That would have been a platinum level trophy.
Congrats,
finishing this game that... This has always been like one of those top 5 games, easy, for when people say, what are your top 5 favorite video games? This one is top 3. I feel like now I could safely say it's my number 1 game of all time.
Nice. Awesome.
I love this game. I can't wait to go play through it again. I'm not going to do it right away.
That's a big deal.
But yeah, I loved it. And watching the ending, seeing all the characters, saying goodbye to everyone, it wraps up in a way that's different from almost every other RPG I've played. That felt it was kind of like the way like Lord of the Rings wraps up, where like they, spoilers, drop the ring into Mount Doom, and then like it kind of walks you through how everybody,
not the ring,
where everybody goes after the journey is done.
Yeah.
So like it was really cool seeing all these other characters, not just like like in Final Fantasy VII when you finally beat Sephiroth, and then
Yeah, that was what I was
it
gonna
jumps
say.
ahead a little bit and it shows you like a little bit of what's going on.
Is it where are they now kind of
Yeah.
situation? That was one of the big ones for me. Like when I had started Final Fantasy VII quite a few times. I think I started like 5 or 6 times before I actually took my save and beat it. And like I remember that exact moment, what I was doing, how I reacted when I beat that game. I was like, this actually just happened right now. This is like surreal. Like, it wasn't like I'd beaten other games before that, but how much I invested into that game, how much I connected with those like characters and those moments, and how much enjoyment I got out of that gameplay experience when I finally accomplished that goal. I didn't cheat or use Game Shark or anything. I didn't I didn't look ahead for the story and know what's going to happen, even though the videos were starting to get out there. I was like, wow, I feel so relieved and intense and relaxed at the same time. It was such a big moment. So awesome. One high for you. High five.
So that was
2
a good
for
way
20.
to start my morning.
Good job.
So what about you, man? What's been going on with you?
Well, actually, last Friday, I think 2 days after our podcast, besides trying out VR, I celebrated my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I just turned 30.
Yeah,
which
welcome to the club.
Maybe I shouldn't say that. I just turned 27. 2 and 7. I gotta go with those numbers again. But
forever. For
forever.
27 years, I'm 27.
Until I become 72, then I'll say I'm 27.
Oh, dang, there we go.
But anyway, yeah, it was an interesting birthday. The very first thing I did when I woke up in the morning was I actually came over to your house.
You did? What'd you do at my house?
We played PlayStation VR.
Oh, that's right.
And it was a really fun experience about seeing how long you've been waiting for it, and then finally getting like late that night, and then it just reminded.
That was pretty rough.
That's why I never order anything online.
But it was one of those things that, like, you just never know when it'll show up.
That's why, because
Ideally,
I can't wait for it.
Like, people online were like, "Oh, I got mine right away, first thing in the morning."
Yeah.
So I mean, it could happen. I just have a really late delivery schedule on my UPS.
And that's why I hate.
But then
another reason why I hate Arizona, but
yeah. But then you don't know, is it going to be available in stores? Which it totally was.
Yeah.
And I could have just gone in and picked it up at any point in time. But at the time, didn't know. Just wanted to be safe.
Yeah, that's why I always pre-order my stuff at GameStop. Unfortunately, I know how you feel about GameStop, but I know that if I pre-order there, I have a week to pick it up, and they always have it ready for me in the morning. If not midnight release, then it's 9 p.m.
Well, I tried to order to pick it up in the store for Best Buy, and this is one of the few exceptions where it didn't give me an option for
Remove the middleman altogether. I don't want UPS handling my life the
Let
day of
me
release.
drive down the street to my Best Buy and go pick it up. I would have totally done that. There's only been like one other thing that I can't remember exactly what it is that I pre-ordered from Best Buy that came really late. I
remember that situation too.
I want to say it might have been my Ghost Edition of Destiny. But I don't remember if that's what it was.
Yeah, it was. Because I remember I was like saying, "Hey, are you online yet?" And
that's right.
And you're like, "No, I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
Like they haven't sent me like the confirmation." I remember that.
That's
and then
what
you
it
went
was.
and you showed me like I'm like, "Yeah, I went through the tutorial, first levels, and you showed me your package."
That's right. Okay,
really cool stuff. But yeah, I mean, I had a really good birthday. I loved playing the VR. That was a really fun experience. We had a lot of good time.
That was pretty good.
We were joking around about a few things. We're gonna play some more tonight. And we'll talk about it a little bit later. But after that, though, I came home. I went for a run a little bit. Worked out to myself. Got some workout time. Then we actually ended up going to pick up a dog. Now, I want to give you the full story about this. So we did end up adopting a dog, and it's been a long time coming. It's one of those things like where you're like, oh well, once we move out, we'll get a dog. Right. And then, once we have our baby, we'll get a dog. Or once we, get financially stable, we'll have it. Or once we get this a second child, we'll have it. Once we get a better, just push and push and push and like
after another.
So I mean, that's how it's been with us getting a dog, and I love dogs. I've had probably I think close to 15 dogs in my lifetime with my family. I just love them. So I've been going to like adoption agencies like a PetSmart for like the past few months, and just looking at like, oh, this is a cute one. Oh, I think I like this type. Just trying to pick out the right one for us. And there's one we fell in love with. It just ended up being like way too much money at the mall. Like, okay, we're not paying almost $4,000 for a dog.
Yeah, mall stores are not where you.
But it was such a cute dog. Oh my gosh. I was gonna call it Bear because that was kind of my nickname, and also anyway. So we go and we see this dog there. Like I kind of like this one, and Zoe's like, I like that one too. Maybe we should show mommy. And we like, okay, Jordan, hey, why don't on my birthday we come and look at it? And he's like, okay. we come back on my birthday, which is the next day, like literally the next day, and we're like, hey, where's this dog at? And somebody looking at it like, no, we sold it last night. I was like, come on, the very next day? I'm like, this is less than 24 hours. Like, I came in at like 6 o'clock at night, and the next day I come in at like noon, like less than 20. I'm like, this is bullshit. I want my money back just for the experience. So we look at, all right, let's look at 2 more dogs. Granted, this is Thursday, so the day before. Let's look at 2 more dogs. I like this one. It's a little too much energy.
Okay.
Try another one. This one's kind of fun, but he kind of doesn't want to care about us. He's kind of just focusing on the guy who's works here.
A little too attached.
I'm like, you're kind of an asshole because we're here to adopt you and you're not paying attention to us. I'll tell it straight. I mean, you're being a dick to me. I'm not going to appreciate you and buy you. So we're like, well, how about we talk about it and come back and like, all right, well, we're interested. Is anyone going to put him to the side? Like, no, we don't do that. Blah 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 blah. He said, hey, but guess what? This one dog is going to go to our event tomorrow that we have, which is at Metro Mall. It's going to be where a bunch of different societies are bringing their dogs here, yada yada yada. Right? Okay, cool. We'll go see him there and see how he reacts in that environment. The dog there is $85.
Okay.
And then like you still have to pay things on top of that. The event the next day is everything's $20. So like I'm like we'll wait till tomorrow. Right? I think we can wait one more day. Yeah. So after playing VR with you. It's the day of my birthday. We go over there, and we have all the kids right when the mall opens at 10 o'clock. And we go in there, and we see one of them from the place that Zoe really liked. We're like, oh, look at this one. It barked at us. We're like, all right, no, fuck you. And we're like, okay. So we keep going, making our way around the loop, and we see this one. We're like, oh, this one's cool. It's like the classic like golden retriever, but with like a small chihuahua head kind of dog. It's adorable. Like puppy, like less than a year still. And just like... But it has way too much energy. It kind of scares Christian. So we're like, I don't know if we look at this one. And we see the dog, his name's Cannon. We see him behind the table, like hiding from everyone with this one girl. We're like, oh, that one's kind of interesting, how it's like nice and calm. So we go look at it. We're like, hey, can we take him out like for a walk or something like that or get some time with him? Like, yeah, sure. We visit him. Really super calm, nice and playful. It looks like a freaking yin yang coat got put on a dog. And then we... And then I'm like, oh, well, we walk him back and we're like, okay, what was it? And we start asking questions. How's his history? How's his health? Blah, 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 blah. And like we see this other one. But one thing you might need to know about Arizona is that if you look to adopt a dog, everything is either going to be combined mixed with either a pit bull or a fucking chihuahua. So
yeah, they're very common.
So like every single dog we found was like, oh yeah, it's a pit bull lab. Oh yeah, it's a pit bull beagle. Oh yeah, I'm like, fuck, dude, come on, give us a break. And we find the one that's... They say the fake name for pit bull, which is like soften left, whatever weird name.
Okay.
But I'm like, I really like this one. It's really calm. But we find out that it has problems with aggression because like it's been like left out from the litter. It got picked on by its brothers and sisters. So I'm like, I don't know. This one kind of seems nicer, but it's a girl. So we ended up adopting the one I got, which was the other one who looked like the yin yang, kind of. Have his eye patch all over its entire body. It's an adorable little dog. It was not pit bull. It was not chihuahua. Super excited about it. It was a basset hound / Labrador / golden retriever. So it's like if you imagine a basset hound with longer legs.
With slightly longer legs and then a golden retriever head.
Yeah, so it looks like it's like really top heavy. Like if it starts running too fast, it's just going to do some flips.
Proportions are a little weird, but he's a cool dog.
Yeah, it's really adorable.
You got a good one.
We were worried about it. I was worried about it because he was super scared about everything. Like coming home, like it didn't want to trust us. Yeah. Like it ran away from us, and so we just my parents took the kids after that. I'm like, all right, let's just spend some time and be with the dog. And then we're like, oh shit, we have to go to Schnapp's Farms.
All right, dog, glad you're in our house. We got to leave you alone for a few hours.
Yeah, so like, we're so happy you're with us. We love you. Peace out. Like so it's been a long process, but I mean now the dog, like, it really comes to me. It comes to Jordan. It follows us around the house, wags its tail. It was a fun experience. We really enjoy having the dog.
That's cool.
In my expect. So that's what we did on our birthdays.
Yeah. Well, congrats, man. That's
thanks.
a big accomplishment.
It was fun. It was a long time coming, so we're happy. So moving on. So just like I said, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into a world of hype, which is where we go over some of the new hype things that have been going on. Hype. We should do that every time.
A good segment.
But this is a world of hype where, like, it's like from that movie Big Lebowski, where it's like you're in for a world of pain, but one for a world of hype.
Gotcha.
These are just things that are going on recently in the world. So the first thing I want to bring up was something that you had no idea about was with Voodoo.
Yeah, why are you talking about like the movie streaming Voodoo service?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So Voodoo is if you use ultraviolet or digital copies
Yes.
of games or movies. Not games,
just movies.
Digital movies. Yeah. That's where your digital copy goes, is on Voodoo. They use work with Disney, all the different ones. They recently went free to play.
So what does that mean?
So I'm not sure what if you're aware of this, but so now what it is Voodoo is you can either purchase the movie, you can still rent it just like you did before they came out on video about 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, or you can go on there and watch whatever movie you want, and you can just watch commercials throughout the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the commercials there are 3 commercials each 30 seconds. So it's about a minute and a half of commercials. And that happens. I watched. I had to break my free-to-play cherry for Voodoo by watching Point Break with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze, because I just wanted to see how it did it. But it was a really good movie. Such a classic movie.
I've never seen it.
You never seen Point Break?
No, I have not.
The new one sucks. But
the old one terrible.
The old one is a classic movie. I mean, there's a lot of cliches in it now, but it's still a great
product
movie.
Of its time.
Roadhouse. But definitely check it out. So
maybe I will, since it's free to play.
It plays. Yeah, there's tons of them on there. Even TV shows are on there too.
Really?
Yeah. So you can watch a bunch of things for free now.
So is it like primarily older stuff then?
So not a whole lot of the newer stuff is on there. I'd say everything's at least a few years old, but I mean, I found
things from this decade.
Yeah, I found some things that were like 2 or 3 years old.
Okay,
so not like crazy, but they're not like new releases for sure.
Right.
But I think it was like about every 20 or 30 minutes of movie, it was about a minute and a half of commercials.
Now, did it cut in the middle of your movie, or did it like cut at a scene break?
So that's the thing I wanted to test. That's why I watched a heavy action movie. Is you play commercials right at the beginning, and then it does a really good job of cutting in between scene breaks.
Okay.
So it did a really good job. I was worried about it because at the end of Point Break, there's a lot of consistent, need to know action, or else you get pulled out of it, and it broke it up really well. So definitely check that out if you guys haven't. I actually use Voodoo for all my digital copies, and definitely recommend it. Now moving on to that, I wanted to talk about some more things that happened last week. Was our VR impressions.
Yes, very impressive.
So this is your VR.
This is
his VR. I do not have one.
No.
Because we talked about that last week. Tell me what your experiences have been besides when I came over, and how it's been changing how you kind of play the games.
All right. So I got it kind of late Thursday afternoon, and immediately opened it up right away because you can't not open it.
Yeah. They're where we've played it and all.
Hooked it up. The first person to actually play it in my house was my daughter.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, I want to check it out. Oh, I want to do it. I want to do it. I was like, "All right, fine. Here, I'll be playing with it all night. So, let's have you get set up." So, put it on her. She got to do the descent, which is the shark cage, going down into the ocean.
Yeah.
She was blown away. Like, it was the most magical thing.
Like Hillary Clinton.
It was crazy. And just watching her, and she was like, the first time she was going through it, she was kind of like a little on edge, a little nervous about it because she didn't know what to expect from it. And like, I was sitting right there with her. I was kind of holding her hand, holding right up next to her. And she was sitting on the chair. And she was just kind of checking everything out. We got to the end of it, and she's like, "I want to do it again." As soon as it was done, she wanted to do it again. So, being that she's only like 7 and recommended age is 12, I'm like, all right, well, we can't do this for a long period of time because I don't want to kill your eyes.
Right.
But I let her do it again, and she had a lot of fun with it. And every day she's been asking to keep playing it, and I'm like, well, you have to go to school. Well, you got this other stuff. Well, we're kind of doing some other stuff. So she hasn't really played it too much since then. But personally, I've been playing it probably at least a little bit every day. I think there might have been. I think Sunday I didn't play it. Or maybe Monday. There's like one day where I might not have played it. But every day I've been kind of messing around with it, at least for a little while.
Okay. So how are your experiences playing it after, I'd say, 2 days after launch? So not Friday, not Thursday. How was like your weekend interacting with your family playing it, or like having them in the room, or or even like what I'm looking for is my concern is yes, it's awesome. It's really impressive to me. I really enjoyed it. I got really dove into it. Am I still going to purchase one? It's still an if for me. The reason is because, yeah, there's the initial, this is a new experience. Not like it drove me in, but the wow factor is definitely there for, well, I can look around me, well, I can look to the side of me while I'm racing cars, and I can do this experience. How long is that going to last for VR before it says, okay, well, I need an actual good game now before, and I mean, I've already lost the wow factor.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how long has that lasted for you? Is it still happening, or is your family started like, okay, we're kind of in the room, don't play that on your face, like when we're watching a movie or something like this?
Well, generally, I don't really play too much. I don't do too much gaming like during the day. Usually, I'll do my primarily game like either when my daughter's at school or when she's gone to bed for the night.
Right.
So I'll play later in the evening and stuff.
No, don't walk over that.
I wouldn't even be able to see it. It's all like this. What do you mean you're right there? Where?
I have the back of it on. I don't know how that happened.
Oh, it's cool, like in the 90s where you wear it backwards? Yeah,
no.
Perfect. No?
Point Break.
All right. So I mean, to your point, I can't speak to that personally, and usually when I play, my wife doesn't really care. So usually what we end up doing is we'll be in the office, and I'll be playing PlayStation on the computer monitors in there, and then she does crafting and paper crafts and other crafty things that she does while I'm playing games. So we kind of are in the same room together, but we don't necessarily always interacting with each other.
Sure. Just
kind of like doing the same stuff in the same room, basically.
Okay.
So I can't say whether or not it was awkward or weird.
What about your wow factor? That's still there for you?
It's still there, yeah. It's really cool. It's kind of like the initial amazing, cool aspect of it's kind of wearing off. Like that honeymoon phase is a little bit.
Right.
But it's still really cool. Like it's to the point where, so I primarily...
But you understand what I'm talking about, right? Like it's...
Yeah. So like I downloaded the demo disc and I've played through almost everything in the demo. There's still like a couple things that I haven't touched. Either just because I know it's an experience that's not really interactive, or just because I haven't gotten around to it.
Okay.
There's just a couple. But the stuff that I have played, I've played repeatedly and really enjoyed it and kind of gotten more comfortable with it, felt more comfortable in the headset.
Okay. You found where the sweet spot is kind of now, right? You know, where it's easier to put on, it's easier to take off, you know where to look, you know what to expect, so you're starting to enjoy the moments more because you're prepared for
more
it.
Familiar. The muscle memory is kind of building up now.
Now, I was worried about you because you spent all this money on this really nice piece of equipment day when it comes out, and that night when you were trying it out, you got a little bit sick. And on our podcast, you told us I didn't get sick at all.
I didn't get sick at all. I know. Whoa.
Let's go.
Thanks, Jesse. So I was a little surprised, a little disappointed in myself more than anything else, because I was like, wow, this didn't happen during the demo, like what's the deal? But I jumped into Drive Club, one of my games that on the podcast I was really excited about, just because it's so immersive.
It was literally like one of your top contenders.
That was like top 3 in what I was excited to play. And I started playing through it in one of the racetracks, and I was like, all right, I can't even make it through a lap because this is making me feel ill.
It was funny because I was watching you. You were streaming. It's like I watch you play for your first experience, and like I just see the car driving, and like you're zigzagging, and then all of a sudden I just see the car pull over.
Pulled over like a real car.
It's like you turned on your lights. Like you're like, I need a minute.
You need to slow down.
And then you're like, no, I think I'm good now. And like the car starts going again, and then you stop again. You pull back off. I'm like, I gotta stop. So it was fun having the narrative on my side.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your experience.
No, it's all right. Because it's definitely something that's going to take a little bit of time for your body to adjust to.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't anticipating it being that bad. I knew it would be, some getting used to it.
I've started looking at the store too, because I mean, I still have a lot of interest in it. I'm still excited about it. Like I found myself that weekend, whilst playing with my dog. If like, man, do I really want one? Do I not want one? Do I want to wait? Do I not want? I found myself still on that fence, but the intensity of both sides was so much stronger because I've gotten a taste of it. I know what to experience.
Now you know what to expect. And
so
you know the potential for it.
Yeah, and I've also noticed on the PlayStation Store, that some of them in the description start saying may cause motion sickness and may not. So I started looking out for those. I really actually wanted to try 100-foot robot golf with you. I think that
pretty cool. But I still have no idea what the VR is in it.
You're just the robot. You are the robot.
But is it a first-person robot view? Mm-hmm. Is it third-person robot
It's first-person.
Okay. See, I cannot find any footage of it anywhere.
Oh, really? I found like 3 videos that I watched of someone playing it, and he fell over twice.
Really?
Yeah, because you could run. Like, you literally, it's continuous playing golf. Everyone,
right.
You don't take turns, and so
everyone's going at the same
he's
time.
trying to run and get in front of somebody, and he was trying to stop and go, so like he was doing one of those
nice.
Teenage driver trying to learn how to drive kind of situations, gas brake, and so he ended up falling over a few times, but it was really funny watching, and it looked like a lot of fun. So I really, coming back to the experiences, I enjoyed the experience.
Good.
I didn't get sick at all. I noticed.
You didn't get sick. And you played Drive Club, and you made it through an entire race and didn't get sick.
And I was all over the place.
Which was pretty impressive.
I was driving weirder than Vin Diesel and Paul Walker and Ludacris combined. Like, it was bad. But I came in first place.
Yeah,
so
good.
But
So, for me personally, what I did after I got sick in Drive Club was I decided, all right, so instead of doing like the bigger games like Drive Club, like Rigs, let's focus on the stuff where I'm stationary. Let's focus on stuff that's less about going and exploring, more about staying and then like looking around you type stuff.
Right.
So I really played more into Super Hypercube, which I still really like a lot. That's definitely my favorite game so far.
You made that comment last week when we were playing. You're like, great, well, I'm sorry. It sucks to be sick right now, but at least I spent $400 so I can play Tetris.
This is true. So I can play pretty Tetris. So that's been really cool. Playing games like the Until Dawn, Rush of Blood.
Yeah.
The demo was really cool. Felt really exciting being inside of a light gun game, basically.
Yeah.
So once I got kind of familiar, more comfortable wearing the headset and moving around and that kind of stuff, and then I had a realization a couple days afterwards, and I was like, oh, this is really similar to like when I first got glasses. Because I didn't get glasses until about like 6 years ago.
Right.
And when I first got glasses and I would wear them, I would get kind of dizzy and sick. And I didn't realize because when I'm moving around, normally I close my eyes.
The lens refracts and then it has to bend.
Yeah. And so like I see the bend while I'm going around and it just would make me sick. So I had to train myself that when I move my head any distance that I need to close my eyes and then kind of like readjust when I get to where I'm going. So, and then I also thought about the fact that when I play games just on the screen, I've kind of more or less like trained my eyes to stay open longer, like without blinking, which is why when I'm playing, like usually my eyes get fried.
Right.
And my eyes stay open really wide while I'm playing so I can see everything and kind of focus on a whole bunch at once.
Mm-hmm.
So with the VR lenses, between me keeping my eyes wide open and focusing on everything and then looking around with the distortion like a lenses.
Yeah, so what was it? It wasn't a...
It was too much for my body.
Yeah, so it wasn't so much like with a normal game how you have the mental learning curve of learning how to play the game. This is actually more of a physical learning curve. You have to learn how your body has to be to play this experience.
How I need to view this experience. So today I went in and I was like, all right, let's go back into Drive Club. And I don't know if I told you about this. So I went back into it.
No, I haven't heard this yet.
Okay. So I came to this realization. I was like, all right, so let's test this out. So I started playing with it on the other games, like the stationary games, where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to keep my eyes as open. If I move around, I'm going to make sure that I blink more and that I'm more cognizant of what my eyes are doing. So then today, I'm like, all right, before we...
my dog just came out here to get some water, so...
So before we do the podcast, I need to go back to Drive Club. I need to be able to talk about this. And so, such a cool dog. So I was like, all right, let's start
driving. Like a miniature cow walking around the house.
Right? He kind of is because he's black and white.
Yeah.
So I went with the car that you picked
the open face,
kind of like a Formula One car, and I was like, all right,
convertible. Yeah.
One of the things I thought might have been bothering me was the claustrophobic part of it. So I was like, okay, let's try the open air car.
Did that help?
Well, I noticed that there's also an option before you start the race. You can change your perspective in the car, so you can either go farther back from the wheel. You can get up close. You can rise up.
That would have been nice.
Oh, it made such a difference.
Because I felt like I was Andre the Giant in that car.
I feel really gross right now. I don't really like this, and I picked myself up, so I was more appropriately where I'm comfortable sitting because of my height, and then I adjusted the distance to the wheel. Instantly felt so much better.
Nice.
I made it through the whole race, got first place.
Nice.
No big deal. Then I went back and tried one of the other cars. Same thing. I positioned myself a little bit. No issues whatsoever. Came in first place. Was racing straight out of Fast and Furious.
Nice.
And as a bonus, I was pushing buttons because I was so far in the lead that I didn't have to worry. There's a third-person view mode on
overlapping.
Yeah, almost. Not quite. That's a lie. But there's a third-person view in that game, which was kind of cool. Ding. Text message. So I thought that was kind of cool because I didn't realize that there was other view modes in Drive Club. So there's third-person. Well, it starts you out in the cockpit view. You back out, you go into third-person car view like a typical racing game, and you can look around you with the headset, which is cool.
Okay.
And then you can click the button again, and you go down to the bumper cam, which is what the first-person view is on most car racing games.
Yeah, like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, and I was like, no, that's a pain in the ass to do it that way. So, but yeah, so I feel really comfortable with the system. I get kind of hot and sweaty a little bit wearing it. Because I get really warm anyways.
But you turn the fan on again while you're driving?
Yeah, it makes it that little immersion with the fan on. But yeah, so I do get warm with it because it's covering my forehead and a little bit on the back of me and then covering over my face. So
it's like a bandana from your nose up, yeah.
Yeah. So it gets a little bit sweaty and warm. If I'm not playing something actively, I'll pull the visor away so a little bit of air can get up into my face.
Okay. One thing that was natural for me is because I'm always having to switch cars with Jordan or the family, so we're always switching cars with what we have. And I'm always constantly going to adjust the rear view mirrors. Mm-hmm. I even did that when I came over and started playing. I'm like, let me see if I can change the mirrors, and that kind of it's there, but I can't do it. It's not there, yeah. So if I knew about the chair thing, that would have helped out because I started in the middle of the race, and instead of trying to hunch over and look through the mirror, I just ended up turning around me naturally. Mm-hmm. And it was just, like I said, that's the cool thing about the experience that, I can naturally do what I want to do. Yeah. If I'm feeling I naturally have someone close to me, I can just look behind me. Instead of trying to use the analog stick and just push it the right way, nub it and find a sweet spot, I can just naturally do it and get back to the race.
Yeah. It was easy to track stuff because you just...
Yeah, it was very comfortable. Mm-hmm. So that's, like I said, that's one thing that's pushed me back and forth. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we have a lot of other topics to talk about. But we're definitely going to have more VR impressions coming up, and we'll refer back to it. But
for sure,
definitely a great system to pick up if you want to be immersed into a game.
Yeah. Can I say one thing really quick?
Be my guest.
So I tried exploring other options with it, the theater mode. Mm-hmm. So I was playing some
tell me about it.
So basically, it simulates the screen in front of you, so it still kind of exists in 3D space. In front of you, you can have it be really big, you can have it really small, you can have it kind of in the middle. I found the middle to be the best option, so it's not too small or
we normally sit in the middle of the movie theater too.
Yeah, so it felt pretty good. So I didn't get a chance to play any crazy graphically intense games because the monitor inside the headset isn't high, true high definition.
Right.
But I played some more pixel art games. So I was playing Broforce.
It's 1080i.
Oh man, playing Broforce on this game was amazing.
Really?
Because so you get the pixelation in it
because it's layered, right? Yeah.
And then the screen is slightly pixelated, you can see the screen door effect on it.
Broforce.
And it almost gets the feeling of an arcade cabinet perspective.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
you're looking into the glass and there's a screen's a few foot behind
more
that.
Old CRTs.
That's cool.
It was really cool, and I did not expect it, but I was like, this actually looks really good in here.
That's awesome.
So I'm gonna have to I'll keep exploring it and trying out different things on it.
I was actually wondering. So I'm not
fun.
sure if this has been talked about or discussed or even tried yet, but it is a virtual reality experience, which makes things more 3D if they're 2D. What about old games that were made with 3D functionality? Will those show up in the 3D features, or are they going to show up as a 2D version of it?
They should show up as a 2D screen. Yeah.
Okay. So you won't get the 3D view of it.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think that there's any PS4 games that have.
Because I know it was it was a PS3, kind of gimmick that came out for a little bit.
I'd probably see if I could pull up something on like Netflix and see, because I know that they have a 3D movie section.
Okay, yeah, check that out for me if you don't mind.
I'll see if I can find something.
Cool.
On that.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and move on to more things that are coming out, which is in a world of hype. One of the most recent things that came out that was announced, we're moving to our announcements, is Rockstar. The next Red Dead Redemption that was announced is Red Dead
Redemption 2.
Yep.
Can I ask why they went with Red Dead Redemption 2 when it's the third Red Dead game? Are they just ignoring Red Dead Revolver?
Look at the title. So it was first Red Dead Revolver.
Right.
Now this is Red Dead Redemption. So
right.
This is the second Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
So it's the second one with that subtitle.
Yeah, but
it's like
the third Red Dead game.
Well, it's like Captain America Civil War, Captain America Civil War 2. But it's the fourth.
Civil War 2.
But if there was, that'd be number 2, but it's the fourth movie of Captain America.
Yeah, but they wouldn't call it Civil War 2.
But that makes sense to you, though, right?
No. No, I don't
dick.
understand. No, I'm not trying to
go play more Earthbound.
Fine, I'll go play Nintendo. No, but I don't understand. So
if they called it Red Dead Revolver 2,
yeah,
they would do that as well. Or they're not calling it Red Dead 3.
No, but they should have called it Red Dead something else that begins with R.
And it totally makes sense because the first one was Revolver, the second one was Redemption,
right.
And to keep this consistency going.
It's like a weird numbering system that they're ignoring the first one.
I think. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
No, I was thinking because they're trying to relate so much with the fans and how much they enjoyed that second one.
Yeah.
The first one they kind of want to forget about because.
And I get that. That's what I assumed it was, but I just think it's kind of weird.
I actually really enjoyed the first one.
The Red Dead Revolver?
Yeah, I have it.
I never played it. I think you
can borrow it if you want.
a little bit of it, but
I think it was PS2.
Yeah, it's PS2.
It's actually, I think it was a really well done game, but of course it's Rockstar. But so I want to say, give me some of your. We've had quite a few experiences playing Rockstar games. Grand Theft Autos, State of Emergency, LA Noire, Max Payne, Midnight Club, Red Dead Redemption, of course. What's some of the experiences that stick out to you when you think of playing those games? What's something that you're looking for in the next game, the next Red Dead Revolver, or Redemption, and what maybe you're looking for in the next Grand Theft Auto, or that you remember us doing that was a lot of fun?
See, now when I think back to playing through Grand Theft Autos and stuff, I never played State of Emergency.
But you know what it is, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the game. And LA Noire I didn't play. Max Payne I'm familiar with, but I never played. Midnight Club I played extensively.
Oh my gosh.
Number 2 was amazing.
Oh my gosh.
That was the game.
Number 2 was probably the most fun of the series.
For sure.
But number 1...
Number 1 was good.
When you're playing locally Capture the Flag, and you guys are just having a good time no matter what, because it's just a mess. The AI was so bad, but it made it fun. But anyway, go on.
So for the most part, what I remember most from these games is just screwing around. And playing with you, because...
How many of these games have you beaten?
I have never finished a Rockstar game.
So I finished a Midnight Club. I finished Max Payne. I finished State of Emergency and also 2 of the Grand Theft Autos.
Damn.
So
you're way better than this. The closest I've come to finishing would be Grand Theft Auto 5. I had to think about which one. I know
that's the newest one. That's the newest one.
Yeah. So, but I think even that I only got to where I unlocked Trevor and I was starting to plan the second heist.
There's so many Trevor lookalikes. It's scary.
So it's weird. These games, they have a cool story, and I want to be invested in the characters and stuff. But they create such a large, open, compelling world that's what I focus on. That's what I'm more interested in seeing, as opposed to the story and narrative, which I want to be drawn into.
Right. I think that's one of the things that really gets me too the most is the fact that the world's so. It's not I'm saying it's endless like No Man's Sky, but it's the fact that where they spend so much time on their world building, making it unique, making sure that it works together. I mean, I can do something in one part of the world so much that I actually start learning the streets and become familiar with it. I know this guy is never going to walk down the street the same way because he'll have some situation that's going to happen. I feel like the story unfolds so well that they actually make it seem like, oh, this is a Wild West game. The gameplay feels like Wild West. The story unfolds like Wild West. And you have cinematic views and story, montages that become like Wild West. When it's Grand Theft Auto, it's city, and so on and so forth. LA Noire was old crime scene days. They unfold their stories so well in a point to where you feel, I'm not saying with VR, but you feel immersed in that world because of how well they develop it.
It feels real. It feels like it's a living world.
Right. I mean, you can even look back on Grand Theft Auto 5 that they have like announcements like the most realistic features, like when you bump a car, like it gets a dent in the right place, or like if it comes to a stop, if it turns red and green again real fast, they actually halt on their brakes. Like the responses that are there in those games replicate the fact of what happens in real life so well. Even it's not the big things, but the small things that make it real.
It's the details, yeah.
And they do such a good job of paying attention to that. The only thing that I felt with Red Dead Redemption was that it is a Wild West story, so there's so much open space. You kind of you feel like you're so secluded sometimes. If you just want to go out and do your own thing, you kind of have to stay in towns. You have to stay where there's people. That's one thing I'm worried about. I hope they break that up in the next one. But
see, I kind of like that in the first one. I thought it felt, because it gave it that more authentic feel, that a similar game that I would compare it to would be like the difference between Assassin's Creed 1 and Assassin's Creed 2. Where like in the first Assassin's Creed game, the world is pretty big. Like there's like a central main area that's fairly spread out and open. Yeah. And then you have to cross through there to get to the other like cities where the
bridges or like the transitional stagecoach rides.
So it makes the world feel big and like you're part of something that's bigger than you. Like you exist in this world. But then going forward to Assassin's Creed 2, everything takes place inside the one city. So it feels big and it's expansive and there's lots of cool stuff, but it doesn't feel the same because you're not traveling through the world, you're just navigating the city. So like I really liked riding on a horseback and leaving the town in Red Dead and kind of just journeying off into the wilderness and then coming up and you would find another town, a settlement, or just like a couple little houses or whatever. And it was just kind of cool that it's like it's not all right there for you to find. Like there's some space. You feel
I actually discovered this. Yeah,
and it doesn't feel as built up. It feels old timey.
It feels earned.
Yeah. So I kind of hope that they keep that feel.
I'm thinking of some of the experiences I had that I hope like they transition through the following ones. There's so much content in Grand Theft Auto 5 now, but honestly, the most fun I had with any Rockstar games was with Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that was such a huge jump from the platforms, but I ended up using, I remember nights where either you or Tran would come over and we'd play that. I would activate the cheats where I could run super fast. That would speed up time. And then I would also activate the slow motion. So I actually had those memorized. I had cheats for memorizing for spawning a tank, for increasing speed, for decreasing speed, for getting all weapons, and then also for increasing the cops and decreasing the cops. I had those all memorized. And so what I would do is I didn't have to go to the second city or third city. I would just stay in the first city. I had the streets memorized because I played it so much. I would put on the slow motion.
Yeah.
I would do it 3 times over. So it was slow. And then I would actually increase my wanted rank to its maximum. And I would give myself a lot of weapons. And then I would put on their slow jams like Bob Marley Reggae Station.
Nice.
And I would go to the area where there's like a lot of like a gas station, like a bunch of dirt and train tracks. And I would actually just keep watching my car like slowly get dodge and Dukes of Hazzard style jump over other cop cars who are trying to stop me with walls. And there's just so many laughs. And then whenever they destroyed my car, I would practice like we would have contests about who could last longest on top ranking at high speed. And just running the streets. You can't use any weapons. You can't use anything except for running. And so it was just good times.
Yeah.
Like I think those are probably my fondest memories of playing any of the Rockstar games. And it wasn't the fact that I was cheating or I was using it to get ahead in the story. It's just that the environment was so real. I could interact with it how I wanted to, and the freedom was there to where I knew what to expect. And that's just it made a great game.
Yeah.
So
that's what I feel like every Rockstar game eventually evolves into is you stop doing any story missions and you just start seeing how long you can survive with what you have.
Exactly.
Like Grand Theft Auto 5 was the first one that I remember. Like, I didn't care about... If I wasn't going to do a story mission, I just would drive around the city and look for stuff. I would go find stuff to do, but I wasn't looking to, like, go do criminal activities like I would in the other ones. Like, this one, it felt more like, oh, I'll go play around a golf. Oh, I'll go swing down by the beach. Oh, I'll go for a swim. Yeah. I mean, it felt like more freedom to live in the world.
And that's what I try to do, right? Whenever we play games, like, for our Let's Plays, I try to, like hey, we're going to play this on Wednesday. All right, I'm picking it up on Friday. I'm going to play as far as I can so that we can actually have almost everything opened up to us, a good, pack of weapons, cars, whatever it might be, so we can just go explore.
Right.
Like, stop playing the game and just start playing the game. So
it's like getting through the tutorial so you can actually play it.
Yeah, like, I want to be able to have no limitations, and I think that's what they do best. So, you going to pick it up? Yes, no? Wait to see more.
Yeah.
The trailer's not even out yet.
I like
so, yeah.
Red Dead Redemption. I never bought it. I obviously never finished it because I never finished a Rockstar game.
Okay.
Just for sheer amounts of content, not for not liking the stories and stuff.
I want to see more too before if it's a lot of the same or if it's a lot of new content.
Yeah.
But all right, so cool. That happened this week. Some things that are just going to come out pretty soon that we're probably going to talk about in the next show for you guys, so you know, is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 comes out next week. So does World of Final Fantasy, Just Dance. Cool. The new Just Dance, and also Battlefield 1 comes out.
Yeah.
So now
I did not realize that was coming out this week.
This Friday. So
that's crazy.
How do you feel about Friday releases?
Works for movies. It's kind of weird because we're conditioned to Tuesday releases.
Yeah, so I don't like it, but I mean, we'll talk about it another day. But just the fact that having to plan your weekend around is usually something I do for my family. When you release a game I want to play on Friday, I'm already planning to go to work that day or spend time with my family. So I'll actually have to wait until the following week to play the game if I want to. So
yeah, I get that.
Yeah. But anyway, so Battlefield 1 being released this Friday comes down to our hype of the show.
Hype.
We really need to get some sound effects or something. I might make it like an opening intro for us or something. But our hype of the show is actually going to be a compare and contrast. Okay. So coming out this Friday is Battlefield 1.
Yes.
Coming out the following week is Call of Duty. Yep. And the week after that, next week is also Titanfall.
I thought they were a week apart.
So it's Battlefield this week. Next week it's Titanfall. Then the following week is Call of Duty. So I'm sorry. Call of Duty is the last one. Yeah. I did it backwards. So Titanfall 2, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Battlefield 1.
That's a lot of shooters.
There's a lot of shooters. And there are also really big names.
Yeah.
Now, I want to do a compare and contrast about, 1, the story.
Okay.
2, multiplayer. Mm-hmm. Overall, gameplay. And then which one do you think is the best?
Okay.
So, rank it from best to worst for... What did I say?
Rewind the tape.
All right, so go ahead and do for gameplay.
Gameplay?
Or we'll go do for story. For what I said, single player, campaign, however you want to put it. Which one from best to worst or from worst to best? We'll do like countdown sort of thing. Campaign.
Probably the one that I'm least excited for would be Titanfall.
Okay.
Just because I know the least about it. The first game didn't even have a
single player so campaign, there wasn't even
so there's nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably the next on my list. I don't know. It's like I'm curious to see what Battlefield does being in World War I. But I'd probably have to say that's my number 2. I think the one I'm most excited for story-wise would be Call of Duty.
Yeah. And that's actually the same for me, except I actually would replace Battlefield and Titanfall.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I've So for all of you guys out there, for all of our fans, because this is, again, a TarynTheHype, Titanfall is a game where you're actually, it's a very military warfare type of game. You actually have the ability to call down in an airship above you a Titan, which is a customized mech robot to your suiting, whether it's combat or however focused you want it to be, and then you can climb into it during the heat of battle. That's the premise of Titanfall. Battlefield 1 is a World War I reenactment where... Not a reenactment, but actually, where it's a World War I simulator where actually it's first-person shooter, and you can actually participate in military warfare through their story and their campaign. And Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is more about the future set time frame, going to outer space, using interesting weapons and mechanics for your type of military gun shooter. So, the the reason I have Battlefield last is because it just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
With Battlefield, I feel that the story is too focused on personal events.
Okay.
And not focused enough on to actual.
It's not like an overall narrative story.
Right. I don't care. It doesn't have to be narrative, but the fact that I want, if you're gonna do historical event, you need to do historical events.
Yeah.
And this is not that. It's about, hey, you're going back to World War One, but we're not going to talk about a history lesson. We're going to say, this is one guy you didn't know about. We're going to follow his story and just, see what happens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not what I want. If we're going to go play to World War One, I want to be going through the history parts of World War One, the timeline. I know it's been done before with Medal of Honor. I know it's been done before with other parts of Battlefield or Arma or other games out there. But, that was the challenge they took on. I feel like not doing that, it is different. It's the way to go. It's not what I wanted, though.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of my last place.
Fair enough.
And then Call of Duty, I'm excited to... Those games are just always exciting, and they do a good job of, like I said, narrative and different experiences. They really put you in the pilot seat of the hype. So,
Cool.
Multiplayer. Worst to best.
I feel like I'd probably put Battlefield as number 3, just because it's Battlefield. It has a different skin on it. It's got slightly different mechanics behind it, but for the most part, you're getting a Battlefield experience with vehicles, with infantry, and that kind of stuff, and large-scale teams. Call of Duty, it's going to be kind of more of the same, so it's coming in at number 2. I'd say probably the one that interests me the most is Titanfall.
I have the exact same list.
Max.
Exact same list.
Yeah, I think the new Call of Duty is going to have some sort of mechs on the battlefield, but I think Titanfall, having already put out a game of mech battles online,
and we've played the
they've
beta.
learned enough. Yeah,
I played the first one and the beta of the second one. So,
so that's the one that I'm thinking is probably going to be the most fun to play online for the longest period of time.
I think mine's kind of reversed. I think I'm really borderline for my second and third place. I actually think that Battlefield might be second place.
Yeah.
Only reason why is because of the vehicles. You can experience like different things, like kind of like a flashback to Warhawk, where I can get into the dogfights. I can get into that blimp because it's not that time age.
Yeah.
I can get into a tank. The only thing that I've seen though from gameplay is that they don't maneuver that well, which is kind of a downfall.
Yeah.
Especially like in nowadays world where everyone's so well versed in multiplayer first-person shooters that if it doesn't respond to what I need, then I can't play it.
Yeah.
And that's the most enjoyable part for me. So it's borderline second or third. With Call of Duty is the same way. Everyone's so good at Call of Duty now. There's tournaments and esports, and people are just trying to get better. That I'm afraid to jump into that world.
It's almost too fast.
Yeah, but I enjoy playing it. Like it's so much fun, but I'm afraid to because I appear worse than I really am.
Yeah,
so.
And that's why I put it as my number 2 instead of number 3, because it just plays well and it feels good playing it. I don't think it's something that I would invest lots of hours into necessarily, because at some point very quickly it's going to show that I'm not the person who's playing this all the time and getting super good at it, like Metal Gear Online.
You mean Metal Gear?
You knew?
So you can catch up.
But gross. But yeah, so all right, so what's the next?
All right, so we have campaign, we have multiplayer. Now when it comes down to just gameplay mechanics.
All right.
Now, with this narrative, Battlefield is more of a simulator.
Right.
Call of Duty is more of an action-paced blockbuster.
Yep.
And Titanfall is more about we have never experienced it.
Yeah.
But we also know that it's going to be very military focused, but also focus about your Titan.
Yeah. I think it's going to follow a similar vein of Call of Duty, being set pieces and more of a blockbuster action cinematic feel for it. I don't know. Why don't you go first on this one?
So this is gameplay. I think that I am going to rank it again. Battlefield's in third place for me. I'm actually thinking that second place is going to be Call of Duty, and first place is going to be Titanfall again. So I think that's what your list was last time for multiplayer.
Yeah.
The reason being for me is that, don't get me wrong, again, this is just, we only have 3 to choose from. One has to be in third place. Battlefield's a great game, but it's so much focused on the simulator aspect of this is what it really was like, or this is what it really could be like, or this is how it should be, that it can take away from the fun factor.
It's too serious for its own good almost.
Exactly. And I mean, sometimes when I want to play a game, I want to relax a little bit. And if I'm so focused on, well, the wind was blowing, 5 miles per hour. Last time when you respawned, it was 3. It's like, my bullets aren't going. I mean, it's frustrating for me.
Yeah.
It's still a fun game. I've played, I think, the past 2 of them and beat both of those. But Call of Duty is fun. The reason it came in second place for me is because the mechanics, everything's so scripted out, is that I'm worried about it being too repetitive. And that's happened a few times in the series.
Right.
Watching Call of Duty Modern Warfare to Advanced Warfare and everything in between, is that they teach you the tutorial. You go through the tutorial, and then that's the game.
Right.
Is that, I mean, even in Battlefield, you have a lot of different weapons, and they do a great job of designing them, doing the artwork for them. With Call of Duty, you have a lot of different weapons, but they kind of all work the same.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of variation. They try to mix it up with Advanced Warfare, where you have like these special techniques, or in Black Ops 3, where you have body modifications, and that was a nice mix-up, but you ended up not needing half of them, or you could play through the game after picking 1 or 2. So, I mean, they kind of focus on, hey, we know what everyone likes. I mean, that's how they've made their money. Everyone likes this game. We're just going to keep making it better and better iterations. And that's why I'm worried about Infinite Warfare just being the same game from level 2 all the way into multiplayer and the end of the game. I know there's a lot of new things, like you can go to outer space, you can go to different planets, but I'm worried about all those planets being the same. Again, this is something we don't know because the game's not out yet, but that's where my perspective is. Titanfall is just a breath of fresh air for me.
Yeah.
You can play the game as a few different classes on the ground. They all play differently. You can play the game in a Titan. Each Titan has different types of classes. There's just so many more unique choices or situations you can find yourself in to where it's not scripted.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of caught my attention so much more. So that's why it's in first.
Yeah.
Sorry for taking up so much time.
Yeah, it took up all the time. No, but I'm going to...
And stop.
I'll pretty much organize them the same way you did. Battlefield, Call of Duty, and then Titanfall coming out on top.
I'll have another.
I think Titanfall has the advantage that it's only the second game in the series. So everything that it's going to be doing, it's taking what the first game did and doing it better. Call of Duty, it's been running for so long now that it's rinse and repeat at this point, where we know what to expect. And yeah, like you said, there's going to be some space combat. There's going to be some new vehicle stuff that they're introducing. But for the most part, it's primarily the same thing: running down the corridor, shooting the bad guys, running across here, shooting the bad guys, following.
They
over
hold
here,
your hand so much, yeah.
So, like, I'm not super excited about that aspect of it. Whereas Titanfall seems like it almost feels like it's limitless what they could potentially do with the series. And I think being able to go through the series, the single player specifically, where you're focusing on one pilot and his relationship with his Titan, which I think is really cool. If we get into how we're ranking them, which one we're most excited for, it might sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I think that's going to be something that'll be really special and really fun to play through.
Yeah. Seeing
kind of how their relationship builds over the course of the game, and how I, as a player, feel about this robot by the time I finish the story.
Right. Is it going to be like an actual companion to you, or is it just going to be a gimmick? Yeah,
right.
I totally get it.
Hopefully it's something kind of like in the vein of Halo, where by the end of it, I care about Master Chief and Cortana, and not something like Destiny in year 1, where I have the Ghost, but he doesn't necessarily do anything.
I don't care about him.
Care about him necessarily.
Yeah, give me characters that are compelling. Give me characters that I want to live through the story. That was a great example using Halo with Cortana and Master Chief. I mean, all the Call of Duties, I want to make a comparison here, is that with Battlefield, you're kind of watching baseball, right? Yeah. It's very technical. There's a lot that happens in it, but you don't see a lot.
There's
you see
a lot of skill involved. But
you see throwing, hitting, and running, but I mean, you don't see everything that has to be practiced and trained for and worked on, and there's a lot going underneath. Call of Duty is more like a blockbuster, like where it's more like football. Like, you may see the person running with the ball, but this is happening over here, and this person had to do this, and this is happening over here, where your eyes can be so many different places, and you're always watching something, and something's always going on. So you're always kind of right there in the thick of it. But again, how some people see it is that it's more fun to watch, but it's less skill.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of finding those middle grounds. I think that's where Titanfall is going to find the sweet spot. I don't think it's going to be the best seller. I think it's going to be the bottom of the list for best selling.
Probably.
But definitely Call of Duty at the top. But if you want to watch someone play football or watch football live like in the Super Bowl, or if you want to watch the World Series, that's kind of how you can find out what game is best for you.
Yeah.
Titanfall might be the middle ground for both of them.
Yeah. Cool. I like that analogy, the sports analogy. The Battlefield is a baseball game. Definitely feels appropriate. Cool. I might have said basketball for the other one just because it's more
I almost said golf.
Damn. Making it sound even worse.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, can you keep it down there? Trying to listen to the grass grow. He's about to make his putt. And now Call of Duty. All right, but I mean, that's my comparison. I think that money-wise, definitely Call of Duty at the top.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually think that Titanfall might come in second for selling-wise, but the only reason that Battlefield might beat it is because it has a weak head start, and people have been waiting for a good military game.
I think Battlefield having the lineage that it does, I think it's going to push it over Titanfall. I think Titanfall's shortcoming that's not their fault is that it's only the second game in the series, and it's coming off of a game that was only multiplayer.
Right.
So a lot of people who just play these games for single player might not be familiar with it, might be like, oh, it's that Titan game again that came out last year that didn't have single player, so why would I care about it this year?
Yep.
So I think Call of Duty is going to come out ahead, but I think it'll be close between that and Battlefield. I think it'll be a fairly big distinction between those two and where Titanfall comes in. I think it'll be a pretty big drop off after Battlefield.
Cool. Well, I mean, we've.
Which one are you most excited about? Are you going to pick up one of them, and which
So,
one are you most excited about?
If I had to pick up one, or if I could pick up all of them, if I pick up two, or which question?
Which one out of those three would you want to pick up, and are you going to pick any of them up?
Okay, so let me put it this way: I'd like to pick up Call of Duty, mostly because I know that you're excited about it.
Spoilers.
No, but I mean, let me put it this way: is that I know that. I'm not trying to spoil that, but I know. I remember you watching A3 and like you're not normally a big Call of Duty fan. Sorry, but the fact that my enjoyment comes from cooperative games or cooperative gameplay, or playing with someone that I trust when you're in a military game. Like, oh, I know he's got my back. Oh, I know that I'm thinking to go over here. He's gonna think that I can plan, and I can expect that with you.
Yeah,
and that's why it looks like a fun game for us to play. But the same thing with Titanfall. I played the beta with you, and I saw how we played together, and playing against each other was even more fun.
That was super fun playing against each other.
If I could actually have a personal choice, I want to pick up Titanfall first.
Yeah.
If I know that you're not going to play that, I might actually skew towards Call of Duty. But I'm probably going to pick up Call of Duty either way because I own all of them, and I've played all of them. Mm-hmm. So I want to help. That answers the question.
Yeah, no, that covers it.
How about you? I'm not going to pick up Battlefield.
Since you already gave me my
Sorry.
I haven't purchased a Call of Duty game since Modern Warfare 2. I have not played a Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2 on PS3. None of them sounded that interesting to me. Like, nothing really grabbed me, and I was playing other games at the time, so I didn't feel like I was missing out. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I haven't played these games in a really long time. I feel like almost an entire generation, it feels like, but I know it's not. So going into E3 this past year, and we're seeing all these VR demos, seeing all this cool stuff, and, Matt over here, hype. All of a sudden we see this game that just starts, doesn't get intro, doesn't have anyone walk out on stage to talk about it. It just starts.
Yeah, this is gameplay starts.
And it felt weird. It's like, is this VR? What is this? It looks like it's Eve Valkyrie, but it's not, because it's obviously a different ship.
See,
it's a space combat game. Okay, cool.
I didn't hint at that spoiler for you. That it might have VR functionality, and you already have a VR. So
true. So it's like, what is this game? I'm super interested. Is this a new VR game that they're going to announce today?
Right.
This looks really cool. Man, this feels really familiar, though. There's something about this game that just feels right. It feels comfortable. It feels lived in. Get to the end of it, and then the Call of Duty logo comes up. I'm like, whoa, okay, you got me. All right. If I can get this excited about a game, not knowing what it is, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's Call of Duty? Nah, forget it then.
Look past that, yeah.
So, like, just watching the gameplay and naturally, like, I can't remember the last time I naturally got excited about a game. Just watching the gameplay and having no knowledge of what it was, because like that's a foreign concept to like games media and how we consume stuff. Like not knowing what something is before I go watch it.
Yeah, that's why I don't look at like Pandora stations when I'm listening to them. I'm like, oh, this is a really good song. Oh, I didn't care if it's Justin Bieber. I actually really enjoyed that song. I'm not gonna feel bad about it later on or go look in the mirror and depress myself.
Right.
No, I enjoyed the song. I'm gonna keep enjoying that song. So
yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, this seems fun. I kind of want to pick it up now. And then later on, they say, oh, that part that we showed at E3, no, that is a VR experience. It's going to be in Call of Duty. It's going to have its own levels for it. And I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I'm going to have a VR headset anyway, so might as well pick it up. But I think between naturally getting excited about it and then not having played a Call of Duty in so long, like I want to get back into it. And this seems like a pretty cool one. I almost bought the last one.
Black Ops 3?
No, the one after that.
Advanced Warfare.
Like, I almost got that one because I was like, all right, cool. It's got
Kevin Spacey.
That seems pretty cool.
Wait, Kevin Spacey as Kevin Spacey.
Right. So I was like, that one seems kind of cool, but then I just never got around to it. So I was like, whatever. It's just another Call of Duty. Not a big deal. But this one, for whatever reason, totally got its hooks in me. And so I really want to play it. Playing the beta for Titanfall, though, got me excited for that because I was like, this seems pretty cool. This seems like a lot of fun. And like you said, playing against each other was actually more fun than playing with each other.
Yeah.
Just because we know how we play.
Because all I did was just try to get people out of their cockpit, just trying to knock them out, climb up on the back of their Titans, and just try to get them out there. You have to do it 3 times before they come out.
Yeah.
That's all I would do the entire match.
Nice.
Just try to sneak up on them and do that, and I'm like, shoot, points and points.
So that one seems really fun, and those would be the two.
Swap
that
me
I'm
off.
gonna...
Get off!
Get out of here. So those would be the two that I'm most excited for. Battlefield seems cool, and I appreciate it for what it is. But like you said, it's baseball. It's a lot of calculations. It's a little more slow, a little more methodical, which it should, ring with me. But I've never really gotten into Battlefield games like that. I've tried a couple different times, and it's just like I want to like it, but there's something about it that's like it's too realistic. It doesn't have enough of a fun feel to it. For me personally, I can appreciate it for what it is. They're really good games.
Perfect.
So I don't know. I'm kind of tied between Call of Duty and
not getting Battlefield
Titanfall. Yeah, I'm not getting Battlefield, but
Yeah,
I'll probably lean towards Call of Duty, and then maybe like later on down the road picking up Titanfall, depending on how they support it.
Yeah, I mean, if I have the money, I'll get both. But if I only had one to choose, I'd probably get Call of Duty too, just because I know the fan base is there.
Right.
Yeah. So that was our hype of the show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We have a few more things we're going to go over for you. So with everything we discussed so far with Rockstar and Call of Duty, Battlefield, all that, we're actually going to probably be doing some Grand Theft Auto Let's Plays just so we can show you how we actually play the game and those fun moments we're talking about. If you've never seen it yourself, look for those in the future. Also, we have actually a patron who, our newest patron, I wanted to give a shout out to. You can follow him on Twitch and on Patreon himself. He has his own Patreon for Twitch streaming for playing games and stuff like that. He does giveaways. Really cool guy. His name is Joe5029. Search on that on Twitch, on Twitter, and on Patreon.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. And you will forever be on our thank you list on our website. If you guys don't know, this is the TarynTheHype podcast, where every week you guys get to choose the review. We give you our opinions of what to expect, what not to expect, and let you choose the review. The #1 podcast where you get to choose the review.
That's right.
TarynTheHype. If you don't know where to follow us, we are on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, the PlayStation Network, anywhere you can think of, especially Patreon. If you look for TarynTheHype, which is again my name, TARYN, The Hype, you'll find it. Or also a website which navigates everything for you is TarynTheHype.com. I am on Twitter myself at Augie272, AUGIE272. The methodical Matthew Marquez here is at
KrillinFlip337 on Twitter.
Awesome. Now, guys, we look forward to for future episodes. We're going to talk to you soon. If you have any questions or you want to send in any comments, you can go to those websites, or you can just send us a straight email. Send us your ideas for topics at TarynTheHype.com at gmail.com, and we will see you guys soon.
Thanks for watching.